Coming up in this week's show, we have Star Citizen's Arena Commander module, Battlefield Hardline is announced, some talk about The Witcher 3 and its release date, and then finally a bit of Wildstar discussion. Hey guys, and welcome back to another video. You're probably wondering why the hell am I here in front of a camera with some really shitty ass set behind me? Well, the reason for that is because this is a new kind of video. Basically, I want to do a weekly general gaming news thingy-majig with a camera. The reason I'm doing a camera, by the way, is because obviously if I'm going to talk about The Witcher 3, and The Witcher 3 hasn't came out yet, it's not like I can get just much gameplay on that. So things to happen in the future for this are better lighting, and we'll just play it by ear and grow it over a few weeks until it really reaches a format that works. Anyway, topic number 1, Arena Commander in Star Citizen. Arena Commander. So, first of all, you can check out the gameplay video on my channel. The thing is a lot of fun, actually. I've been having a great time. I don't have multiplayer unlocked yet, but going around my 300i, blasting the crap out of the bots in Vandal Swarm. It really is a bucket load of fun. However, there's one or two little big problems. There's problems, guys, there's problems. So, problem number 1. God, the sound design. Right, the sound design is not bad. It's not amazing, it's pretty solid, but there are things that need to be added, definitely, though in comparison to Elite Dangerous, which is a similar game, I think it's from David Braben, the guy who made the original Elite, it's his game, its sound design is so much better than Star Citizen's. I mean, it's not even a comparison. Well, it's a comparison, but, there's no competition, it's so much better. So I'm really rather worried about the overall sound design in Star Citizen. Visually, though, Star Citizen is perhaps the best looking game I've ever played, hands down. You don't really notice it when you're sitting around in the cockpit, but I'll cut in some footage here of just, me, third person. It looks stunning. It really is one of the best looking games I have played, and that excites me greatly. The other minor controversy is the flight model, so they're going with a rather realistic vibe and things. You've got all the different little thrusters in your ship, so if you need to turn, it doesn't just turn your ship. It tells the thrusters to apply thrust, then it calculates the turn based on that thrust. And because of the way these mechanics actually work, sometimes your ship will wobble a bit as your thrusters try to compensate for things. I guess the main issue is, are they sacrificing gameplay for the sake of realism? Because really, what people want in a space game is they want to be that guy who's weaving through asteroids, being a badass chasing down enemy ships, and that just doesn't really happen as much because of the design of the flight model, whereas in Elite Dangerous, things like that can happen a bit more, because its flight model just seems to promote gameplay which involves chasing, whereas Star Citizen is far more sort of, spinning around your enemies, but then also, it's, in terms of chases, like, you kind of end up dueling, then you both veer off, turn around, and they go again. So AI tweaks are needed, flight model major tweaks are needed, they need to fix up controls, they need to fix up gimbaled weapons, and they really need to work a lot on the sound design. But other than that, like, it doesn't seem like an awful start, the ships are looking cool, and overall I still have a positive outlook. There's a lot of naysaying and crying on the internet. What CIG, or Cloud Imperium Games, the developer, have said is, listen, this is version 0.8, this is pre-alpha. There's a lot of changes to happen, and they've been quite receptive to community feedback, so because of that, I think we'll be okay. So, hooray! Right, let's move on to the next topic. Battlefield Hardline. Ooh. Well, the Battlefield series is technically turning annual, maybe. And that's, in itself, not great news, it's not bad news, it's just news, it deserves being talked about. So, Battlefield, 4, 5, 3, that's great counting, but the numbered Battlefields, I think, are still going to be going on their usual 2-year cycle. So that ensures they can just develop them a bit more and make sure they're polished up. Obviously, a 1-year development cycle is absurd, and ideally in games, we really want to be having a 3-year development cycle for a humongous game like a Battlefield one. So, yeah, it's a bit of a bummer it's on a 2-year thing, but whatever. Hardline is a cop battlefield. It's cops versus robbers. The single player is actually being made by Visceral. They're the people who brought their first game was James Bond, Agent Under Fire. I love that game with the PS2. But they've also done Dead Space. That's probably their main franchise. They're doing the single player, and DICE are doing the multiplayer. I still think the multiplayer could be fun. It's got elements similar to Payday the Heist, so you've got grappling hooks and just various other sort of cops versus robbers, bank heist style things. The game modes all seem to be very much based around the cops versus robbers theme of the game. And overall, I'm interested. Look, they've got my interest. I know it's a Battlefield game. I know how much cynicism there is towards, games that are men with guns. But it could be good. It could be good. Maybe. Another, I suppose, interesting point is that the single player is, of course, being done by Visceral. Now, Dead Space 1 and 2 had really, really good campaigns. 3... I guess it was good, but it was marred down by the fact that 3 wasn't a Dead Space game. It was this weird hybrid that EA made because they wanted more money. Still, I think they could actually make a very interesting single player, and the single player is going to be unfolding in a episodic format. I don't know if that... Okay, I'm terrified that means DLC episodes, but I think the way that, based on the trailer anyway, the way they're going to be doing it is... just the overall campaign basically plays out like a season of a cop show. I'm down with that. I'm so down with that, so it could be really interesting. Alright, with that said, The Witcher 3 has to be talked about. Well, The Witcher 3 is probably a game you all know a lot about. They have given us a release date. The release date is the 25th of February 2015? Yes, 2015, because I can do maths. Yeah, I am excited as hell for this game. I have played Witcher 2. It's a lot of fun. I've only played for about 8 or 9 hours. I need to finish it. I recommend playing Witcher 2 as well, especially with the enhanced edition that came out. And it's a fantastic game, The Witcher 2. It looks amazing. It plays great. It's got a really interesting story. So, absolutely, go and do that. And as for The Witcher 3, well, it's got an open world. I think they're saying about 100 hours, so 50 hours in the main storyline, then loads and loads of side quests. And that's all looking really good, actually. So, very excited about that. Though... Games Press, if you ever say it's in a Skyrim-inspired world, no, Skyrim does not, you can't just say, oh yes, this is in a Skyrim-esque world. No, it's in an open world that isn't modern. Guys, just stop it. Every time the Games Press says that, a gasket blows in my ear. I don't know why I have gaskets in my ear, it's really worrying. Anyway, so... That's that talked about. Let's move on to a, interesting topic for the World of Warcraft community. Wildstar! That MMO that's basically the Saturday morning cartoon sci-fi MMO that's, honestly, very good. It's very, very good, actually. And a lot of people that are World of Warcraft fans are saying, oh, Wildstar isn't even competition. Blizzard doesn't care. Wildstar's a piece of crap. Nyeh. Listen. If you truly are a Blizzard fan, then you want Blizzard to be on their toes with competition at their heels. That is what Wildstar brings to the game. Blizzard are going to have to work their ass off, and that is what we want. So as for Wildstar itself, of course, it's got that good effect on just giving a little bit of pressure to Blizzard, because they haven't had any competition in years. So that's definitely nice. In terms of the actual game, though, I remember when I did my skill shot video, there was so much cynicism towards skill shots, and so many people damning Wildstar, and honestly none of them had played the game, likely anyway, based on what they said, because many of them would literally just say, I haven't played Wildstar, but I can tell you it's shit. Your opinion is invalid. So, yeah, Wildstar is actually fun. It's a good game. It's well polished. It's a competent MMO. It's got a really interesting housing system that... honestly, to me, sounds like it is more customizable, but it doesn't really... Look, I prefer the feeling of Garrisons. The reason I prefer that is because Garrisons are sort of, the way they're tailored in with the story, I really like the mission-based gameplay and all the various things that Garrisons add. And then also, one of the reasons I prefer Garrisons is because of the sense of world. In Wildstar, they've had pretty zones, they've had decent graphics, but none of them have just had this sense of presence and world building that World of Warcraft has. Another problem as well is characters. I couldn't give a shit about any of them. And, okay, similar enough in World of Warcraft sometimes, but at least it just seems like Blizzard do a good job of giving character to the whole world and the whole game. I just feel like Wildstar doesn't get that as much. It still has plenty of character. It's still got that whole Saturday morning cartoon vibe going on. And then, of course, also for the combat system, I mentioned that I felt it was in some ways more fun than Warcraft in a leveling up you versus the environment PvE perspective. I don't think that its heavy skill shot basis is going to help out as much, though, when you get into a giant ass boss fight with bollocks whirling through the air, which would be pretty sore. But yeah, I don't think it'll be as good for that, really, because if you've got one target with its own very unique and interesting mechanics, I think Wildstar is just going to turn to this really hectic dance, whereas I think that World of Warcraft's combat system could maybe just lend itself a little bit better to at least the kind of gameplay that I enjoy in an MMO. So, yeah, look, we'll just have to wait and see. The Warlords of Draenor Alpha is, of course, out. I'm not in it yet. I'm pretty sure I'll get in, though, at some point. Maybe, just not right now. But I'll continue to bring you all the news and stuff. So, yeah, that's a big sort of clash of the titans. It's funny, apart from EverQuest Next, which is just another kettle of fish in terms of it as a game, there's not a great deal coming up for MMOs. Lots of MOBAs, not many MMOs, which is a little bit of an odd thought. So yeah, that's basically it for today's show. Do let me know what you think about the things. As I said, things are going to be fixed. Our lighting, will try to get a better sort of setup in terms of what's behind me. Next time, I'll also have my hair cut by the time I do the next one, because my hair's literally not been cut in nearly 2 months, and it's getting a bit ridiculous. So I'll do that, and also, in case people are concerned that World of Warcraft is disappearing off your channel, you're moving into other stuff. Well, basically, no, this is just going to be a once-a-week thing, and I, at some point, will probably start putting the odd, just more first impressions videos and things like that on the channel, especially in the periods of downtime the World of Warcraft has. Honestly, it's been a very strange few months for the game, and it just goes to show that as a YouTuber, you can't rely 100% on one game all the time, and World of Warcraft's my absolute focus, and it will be for the next few months. I won't need to start covering other games because Warcraft will be full of stuff, but should another Siege of Orgrimmar happen, then I guess I'll just try to spice up the channel more and keep things fun for you guys, because I was very worried for a while there before the alpha came out that things in the channel were just getting a bit stale because views were dropping off, and it was just hard to keep everyone's interest up in World of Warcraft, because people weren't playing the game anymore. They were done with the Siege, they were done with the Timeless Isle, but things are looking better. Hopefully we never get another Siege of Orgrimmar in terms of length again. Length, is patch length. Actually, no, I don't want a 15 boss raid either. That was just too long, it was painful. So, yeah, hey, let me know what you think of the show. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next World of Warcraft video.